Demetria.
Thanks, Stephen. Tonight, Alabama's Parole and Pardon Board is under a microscope after the Way 31 I-Team stories revealed a broken system that let dangerous criminals slip through the cracks and out on parole. One of those criminals, Jimmy Spencer, is back in prison, charged with killing 3 people while out on parole and having several run-ins with police. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Demetria McClinton. You can now add victims and inmates to the list of groups frustrated with the state's parole board. When they showed up for hearings today, the board turned them away and simply said all parole hearings for the rest of the week are canceled. The governor ordered certain parole hearings be put on hold today. The board one-upped her and canceled all of the hearings for the rest of the week.
Tonight we have team coverage about the Alabama Parole Board. First, we'll go to Way 31's Brecken Terry in Montgomery, where this decision was made. Brecken.
The governor said she did not halt all parole hearings. She says their reasons for canceling parole hearings for the rest of the week is not sound. Multiple victims and inmates' families were visibly upset as these doors were locked and the hearings canceled.
We were met by people to tell us, there's no parole hearing, so we don't know when it'll come up.
Joyce Adams' brother was murdered 20 years ago. Tuesday, the woman convicted in his murder was supposed to have a parole hearing that was canceled last minute. Adams wasn't notified.
At least a phone call could have notified us. We took off of work, we drove here.
With the doors locked at the parole board and this sign up, multiple families and even victim advocates were turned away with no notice.
It's just not right. It's not right to either side, and they've gone through this turmoil to be here.
Selena Ford told me she waited on her grandmother's parole hearing for 9 years, and she called the parole board Monday afternoon. She claims at that time the board told her the hearing was still a go.
They locked the doors on us. They stopped us at the door and told us there were no hearing today. Turn around.
Ford thinks the parole board ripped hope of her grandmother being released away from her.
And to get that date 2 months ago, saying that she would be having a hearing and praying to God that he release her on this day, and to get here and they got the doors locked.
It's unclear if more parole hearings could be canceled, and for the ones canceled today, when they could be rescheduled. In Montgomery, Brecken Terry, Way 31 News.
Thanks, Brecken. The parole board told Way 31 it made the decision to cancel all parole hearings late last night because of the governor's executive order to halt early paroles. The board said it needs time to go over the dockets. The board also said it tried to contact as many families as possible. Obviously, they didn't contact everyone. These changes are happening because the Way 31 I-Team did some extensive digging into Jimmy Spencer. We spent the past 3 months asking how and why a criminal with an extensive crime background was granted parole.
Originally, the board said Spencer had a low chance of reoffending and had a good conduct as an inmate. But this was after the parole board switched to a system that uses analytics instead of human judgment. We filed an open records request to learn about Spencer's time in prison and found that Spencer continuously violated rules and remained a violent person until the day he was paroled. We found about 50 disciplinary actions against him starting in 1993 when Spencer escaped from prison. Reports include Spencer assaulting 3 corrections officers and stabbing other inmates.